Hey there, Cheesemeisters. Welcome back to the Peach Pod. That would have been Woodstock by Joni Mitchell. That is the quote that's at the beginning of the episode. Did you get that in your version? A black screen with a
No.
quote on the screen? Yep. Did you get at the beginning of your episode long camera shots of actual Woodstock cars lined up footage?
No.
Yeah. See, you got a fucking mess of edit on this
God damn
episode.
it, Paramount Plus. Fuck you.
I know, it's terrible.
Ugh.
So yeah. Anyway, Woodstock was playing over the opening credits. I am Jeff, and you're a fascist. And joining me on the other end of the internet, my co-host, fascist.
I'm Leslie, and I want to be the one playing the tambourine.
Right? Doesn't that sound delightful?
I've done it.
Yeah. This week, Cheesemeisters, we are talking about Season 4, Episode 25, I believe. Yes. The Time Has Come Today. Original air date, March 23rd, 1994. Which is, I feel obligated to point out, 31 years ago from the point of our recording. And this episode in 1994 flashes back to 1967, which is only 27 years difference. So we are further removed from this episode than this episode is removed from the diary that Brenda is reading.
Damn.
Yep. So that's what's going on there. Did you throw up in your mouth or throw something this episode? Or is it just now that you're finding out all the things you missed?
Let's see. I definitely got agitated. Gosh, when did I want to throw up or throw something? Oh, God. I need to start actually writing these moments down. Well, usually they're strong enough that I will remember.
Sure.
This episode is odd.
Uh-huh. Yep. All right.
I had some acid reflux.
I feel that. All right. Well, let's get into it, because what happened in this episode is meaningless. Kinda. Because it's not about our friends.
No.
Really. So here's what happens in this episode. Everybody's going skiing fucking again because, like, I don't know, when in doubt, go skiing, I guess, as an activity. But this time Brenda's not going because she didn't feel like it. Like, is really what it is. I don't know what's fucking going on with Brenda other than a general malaise.
I want to be alone. Only I can be alone when I want to be alone. You all choose to be away from me. I say when I want to be alone.
Yeah, she's taking the reins of her own solitude, which, look, it's presented as a weird thing to sometimes just want to sit in your room and read a book and listen to music all day by yourself. It's not a weird thing. Sometimes you just need to unplug. You just need a little downtime, a little quiet time, a little you time. That's what Brenda's looking for here. But she can't say that. She doesn't have either the emotional intelligence or the emotional vocabulary to say, I just need a break from y'all motherfuckers. Because this has been a rough year, and I frankly I'm not feeling it with you guys all that much right now. And they're not feeling it with her because Brandon rips her fucking head off.
That's when I wanted to throw something. When he
I'm
was
not
being
surprised.
an asshole to her, I thought, what the fuck is wrong with you? If she doesn't want to go, she doesn't have to go. And also, all you have to do is just be like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
But Brandon was like aggro out of nowhere. Like, I don't think that's Brandon's fault. I think the writers were like, we need to make Brandon a dick right now, because he hasn't been dickish to her in this way. You don't see any indication that prior to this conversation he was tired of her shit. That hasn't happened in any of these episodes.
I wonder too if this episode was a more challenging one for him to direct and act in because
Hmm.
his moments felt so rushed. Like,
Yeah.
and not even, maybe they meant this to be funny, but when Donna calls and he's like, yeah, I got my skis fixed, I'm psyched, I'm ready to go. I'm like,
Mm.
hey, Jason, I know you're directing. You maybe want to watch that back and do another take? No? Okay.
Yeah. Do you believe that he was more psyched to go on this trip or more psyched to get up for the first day of school?
He was more psyched to get up for the first day of school.
Wow. And do you
Absolutely.
think that was because of the Godzilla alarm clock?
I mean, my Wonder Woman theme. And I'm talking about from the movie, sorry, not the TV show. But yeah, that motivates me. So why wouldn't Godzilla wait, that is Godzilla. Why wouldn't
Yep.
that motivate Brandon?
I feel you. Okay, good. So we're agreed that in the pilot, when Brandon wakes up and is groggy as fuck, new friend, new school, new house, I'm psyched. Wake up. That had more energy to it than I got my skis waxed up, Donna, I'm psyched.
Like, it honestly, Brandon probably doesn't want to go on this trip either. And he's like, fuck, Brenda, why'd you pull the grounded excuse? What am I going to do?
Right. Yeah, and so Brenda is like, I don't want to go. And so she makes up some bullshit. And Donna calls and like, Brandon, can you beg Jim and Cindy to let her go? And Jim and Cindy playing Scrabble, shouts to Scrabble,
Right.
in the kitchen. Love that. Are like, what? She's not grounded? We don't even remember what she. Oh, that's right. Last week she did get arrested. Maybe she should be grounded. Should we ground her? Or did we decide that the law doing nothing was enough punishment? Is that where we're at? So they're like, no, she can go. What the fuck do we care what Brenda does? Like, when's the last time we gave a shit, you guys?
Okay, them also not caring this episode about Brenda was off-putting. Again,
Well, at least Brandon wasn't running for office or something. I mean, then they really would have been focused elsewhere.
True.
But I don't know. Brandon is like, everything's too much with you right now, Brenda. We're all kind of sick of your shit. And she's like, guess what? I am also sick of my shit.
That felt pointed. That felt so pointed from the writers. I was like, this is not Brandon and Brenda. This is the writers and Shannon, which I'm sorry. I don't know what happened in this moment. I don't know how she handled it. I know for me, I would have been like, you all want to just go have a talk or something because this is really insulting. Like, just fucking talk to me. Anyway, yeah. I'm mad for Shannon and she doesn't need that. She's fine. Well, she's passed on, but you know.
Yeah.
She's at peace.
Not worried about this anymore.
No, she's not.
But it is, I mean, that's one of the things that I had that this episode was really about was the meta of it all. But that was fucking rough. Like, and so
cruel.
Yeah, so everybody else leaves, and Brenda stays and finds a diary in the warped boards of her windowsill.
Jealous,
right? And this diary is relatively interesting, and it's a flashback situation where everyone in the diary in Brenda's head is the people that she knows, the other actors that have already been hired to work on this episode. Including Deshaun Hardell as Uncle Sam, which was a strong flex. It's like, all right, sure. Get that paycheck, Cress Williams. Come in here and play fucking... You know why? Deshaun's in the next episode. I bet you this was a double up.
Got it. Well,
like shooting both of them at the same time. So he's here. You know, pay him in this episode too. We'll give him the Uncle Sam costume.
I was going to say, get those paychecks, buddy.
Yeah, right. No, I'm all supportive of that. And so what we're subjected to then is Wendy's 1967 through 69 diary entries that were pretty much only made on the days that big historical events happened because laziness. So we get to see what it's like when Lyndon Johnson resigns from their television set. We get to watch Vietnam War footage over dinner. We get we get to see how they reacted when Bobby Kennedy was killed. And then we get to see them get ready to go to Woodstock. We see some anti-war protests. We see her brother, Brandon, being a super right-wing fascist asshole who like goes to Vietnam because he's like, I think because he wants to. He's ROTC. He's like all in for this shit. Gets there, finds out it's not so great. Spoilers, never comes home. Kelly is Michelle or something, and she smokes weed once and she's dead 3 years later because that's how that happens.
If that didn't feel like foreshadowing, not that I know Kelly's not gonna die, but like
it felt like bullshit.
I mean, it did feel like bullshit. Poor Jenny Garth had nothing to do this episode except, you know.
But I don't know. Every scene she got to be a little more whacked out than the scene before. At least like her character had an arc. You know,
okay,
there's something going on there. It's stupid, and it's I mean, it's what this show does with drugs. It's like you take drugs, and a minute later you're hooked on meth and orange juice. And by the way, and I forgot to point this out at the time. Seems worth pointing it out now. Does this show think that meth is a gateway drug to cigarettes? Because David did meth way before he smoked. Like, he ramped up to smoking.
But Brenda never did meth, and she smoked.
That's true, but she went to France, the same thing. France equals meth. I guess.
Shit,
I don't know.
So I've technically done meth then, because I've been to France.
You've been to France? Me too. Yep. France equals meth. Uh-huh. L'orange. I've been learning French on Duolingo, so I've learned some words. So it's very exciting for Juste de l'orange. Yeah, I don't know, whatever the fuck. So yeah, so she goes from I have some actual weed, not rolled up tree bark. Like, we'll smoke anything, whatever. It's 60s. To being dead in 1971. Like, we don't find that out till later, but she's on everything. This is the girl. It's rough. Every drug's a gateway drug to death, is what this show wants you to believe, which is fucking ridiculous.
Yep.
David and Steve are, I don't know, comedic relief. Back in the 60s. I don't know. They're there because they had to give them something to do. Andrea.
Maybe their hair.
Oh my god, those fucking wigs in this episode.
Wigs were amazing.
Oh, the wigs were silly AF. Dylan's wig, when he is standing on the porch and does that, was
an ad lib.
Of course it was. That was they've got me wearing this fucking wig. Like, I'm gonna fucking play with it. Yeah, Dylan is Peter Brinkley. He is an agitator. He's a crumb bum, according to old Brenda's dad, Wendy's dad. And he's leading love-ins on the campus and occupations of administrative buildings, much like the dude. Smoked some Thai sticks, occupied a few administration buildings. It's very much the dude's experience of the late 60s, I think, Dylan. Getting them that they have a love-in, or not a love-in, a be-in on the campus that has roughly 14 people there.
A lot of dogs.
A lot of dogs. It's a good day for dogs. I feel like they also had the dogs still from last week, and we're like, put them in this scene too.
They're cheaper than extras.
Yeah. Do you still have those Frisbees from last week? Props. Silliness going on in this episode. And Brandon and Dylan get in a fight in the 60s. Will and Peter. I can't believe I'm remembering these characters' fucking names.
I'm really impressed because I barely remember. I mean, Peter Brinkley, because that name gets dropped a lot.
It does. Yeah.
Will.
Yeah. It's, I don't know. Fuck this fuck episode. Fuck it. I hate this episode. I don't hate it because I think it's interesting, the things they're getting at, but I
Yeah.
don't give a shit because it's not our characters. Like 1967 David is trying to get with 1968 Donna. She's a prude, but eventually she gives in, and then he never talks to her again. Like, so like that's rude. But also, like, okay, are we trying to say that this is what's going to happen with David and Donna? You're clearly trying to draw some parallels here. I get that. And Brenda putting herself in like the Wendy position where she still wants Peter, but Peter's with Michelle. It's the Kelly Dillon Donna or Kelly Dillon Brenda dynamic happening in the 60s.
And then we're gonna
But
have her crying in her bedroom later. And
yeah, I still love Dylan. What?
Oh my god!
Is that what we're doing? Is this episode just an excuse for us to get back on the Brenda loves Dylan train? Because I don't want that. I
don't either.
It's lazy and it's boring.
God, the scene where they were fishing together was just so good. And the fact that they're unraveling that. Again, another time, I, as the actor, would have been like, really? You're going to undo everything within one season? You're going... Again, I mean, you can make the excuse. Kids are constantly changing back and forth, and they're still kids, even though they're also young adults. But, like, my God, this just feels like the writers are, I don't know, Brenda loves Dylan? Ooh.
Yeah. And
out of our greatest hits hat.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And that's one of them. We'll have Donna's virginity. We'll talk about that. We'll have Brenda and Dylan and Kelly. We'll talk about that. There's got to be some kind of strife between the parents and the kids. We'll talk about that. David's fucking horny. We'll talk about that. It's just we just spent all this time in the 60s with these people that we don't know or don't care about, and then the diary ends. Bobby Kennedy is killed. They were all for him, except for Will. Will's like, how about not him? How about anybody else? Because fascism, I like it. He would love Bobby Kennedy's kid. Like they'd be super good friends. He'd be like, yeah.
Now I'm throwing
up. And then they go to Woodstock. But here's the part of the episode that I'd like. In the now of it, Brenda is like, I want to find out what's up with this Wendy chick today.
Yeah.
Because that's the interesting part. And she goes to the school library. Yes. And she gets help from a librarian. Yes. And she learns a little bit about the time period, and she gets the address for this Wendy lady, and she goes and takes the diary back to her. Wendy's local. Like, she's just hanging. She's in her, whatever, in her 30s, probably early 40s, I guess. And yeah, like mid 40s.
Is that what 40s is supposed to look like?
She looks all right.
She looked fine, but she looked older. Like, again, people don't base age off of how people are cast. It's so distorted. We have such a distorted view of what age is supposed to, or what age can look like. Anyway, continue. It's neither here nor there. She does look great.
Yeah. She's Jim and Cindy's age. I mean, they're peers.
And that's what I was thinking too. And I'm just...
She has better hair than Cindy does.
Yes, she does.
Poor Cindy. R.I.P. Cindy's hair being nice, apparently, ever. I don't know. It's been a minute since it hasn't been a hot mess up there. But so Brenda gets to talk to this Wendy chick, and Wendy's like, yeah, that all happened. Not really friends with those people anymore. Michelle died, OD. That was rough. Will's dead. Sorry, never came back from Vietnam. I don't talk to these people anymore, but I have a nice life. Look at this. I got this house. I'm just doing yard work. Your mom likes doing this. Like, kind of the same. And there were numbers written in the back of the diary that were a mystery. They were apparently the codes to open the hatch on Lost. So yeah, those were Hurley's lottery numbers. No, they were the directions that they took to get to Woodstock because they drove from California to Woodstock that summer after the diary ends. And that's the end of the episode. Nothing fucking happens.
Except once again, the gang has to come together to be like, no, Brenda, we really do want to be around you. We really
that's
do
right.
want to hang out with you. Which
Let's go visit David's grandparents in Palm Springs. Shouts to David's grandparents.
Is that really going to happen? Are we going to Palm Springs next?
No. That was just something that they wanted to do at the end of the episode. But shouts to David's grandparents, probably throwing an orgy right now.
Hey, very 60s of them.
Very 1992 of them in their backyard at their grotto with all those teenagers in bikinis. They loved it. Tequila!
Yeah.
Yeah.
This episode is strange. I do like shows that will go back in time. Often they don't. I mean, it's never done really well because again, you only have 45 minutes. What all are you going to cover? The basics that people know and have already touched on in their history class or that they've seen done a million times, also incorrectly. It's also kind of bullshit to assume that people are only writing or kids are only writing in their diaries at like the most intense moments of history. No, I'm sorry, we don't do that. Hell, they don't even do that in Dear America, which I'll get to that later.
Okay, because I don't know what that is.
Oh, I can't wait. It's my nostalgia memory, but we'll get
to it. Good. Yeah, there are a number of things that bother me about this episode. One we've discussed already is that it spends all this time with people who aren't the main characters, so who cares? Second, the characters in the flashbacks are just constantly quoting pop music from the 1960s. It's so fucking heavy-handed. Yeah, I wrote them all down too.
How many did you come up with?
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I've got 11.
I have 12.
Okay. I very easily could have missed one. And I may have one that you missed. There may be like 14 or 15.
I was going to say, I think there's definitely more. But again, sometimes I think they did them in quick succession. Like,
yeah, they did.
Once again, this episode was a game of song titles from Whose Line Is It Anyway? Except it wasn't funny.
No, it wasn't. It was lazy. It was like the writing assignment was cram as many song lyrics into their dialogue as you possibly can. And that's one of the things this episode's really about. Here's what I've got. The times they are changing. Somebody to love. You don't have to be a weatherman to know which way the wind blows.
Oh.
Time has come for a change. Time has come today is the name of the episode, obviously.
Oh, yes.
And that's part of that. There's something happening here. Love the one you're with. I just want to make love to you.
Yep.
Keeps me hanging on.
Yep.
The games people play.
Missed that.
Have a little faith. And I'm a believer. This is like a game of song title Boggle, by the way.
I know.
Now tell me the ones you didn't get, and whoever has the ones, I think I have like 3 points because you didn't have those.
Yeah. So there was Turn On, Tune In, and Drop Out.
It's not a song, but go ahead.
Wait, I thought it was a song.
I mean, it's a slogan, but it's slogan of the time. Yeah.
Go With the Flow?
No, that's just the way people talked.
Okay. Heart Like
Except for, what's that?
See, here's...
What was the last thing you said? I didn't hear it.
Heart Like a Wheel.
I don't know. Maybe that's not one I know.
I think that... So I used a site called like Song Lyric Finder or Song...
Oh.
I don't know. Lyric Finder. So I would type in these things. It wasn't extremely helpful because it would bring up songs, but then I was like, I don't know if this is from the 60s. I was guessing on some of them.
Sure.
Anyway,
Well, I'll
Um,
tell you where Go With The Flow, there is a song with Go With The Flow in it, and it's in Teen Wolf. You gotta go with the flow, Joe. No matter what, it's a hell of a show. Take it easy and slow, Joe. Way to go. Way to go. Fucking Teen
Also,
Wolf.
ironic because Wendy says it in the end when they're talking about, oh, my son's girlfriend Michelle is also here. Michelle, isn't that ironic?
Oh, but this predates that song.
I don't care. I need a win, people. I'm
You did
keeping
have a
it.
win. You got to watch this episode.
Rules don't matter
It's a
anymore.
victory. I know. I just that's one of the things that one of the reasons this episode is irritating to me. And I will say that I liked it much better watching it right this time than I probably ever have before. Um, and I can explain why. But the things that irritate me still irritate me. The constant quoting of song lyrics as if that's dialogue. It's just fucking. It's remember? Oh yeah, I remember. Oh, remember those songs? I
Tell
remember that
Todd,
song.
man.
Yeah, it's just. Oh my god, it's
I
fucking
just want to
irritating.
make love to you.
That's right. All I really want to do is, baby, be friends with you. It's a Bob Dylan song. That all I really want to do stuff is from a Bob Dylan song. What do you have that this episode might really be about?
To start, no one remembers last episode. Kelly wants Brenda on this trip.
Yeah.
She's suddenly all like, "Oh yeah, come along, come on. You tell your parents that you need us to straighten you out."
Right.
Jim and Cindy don't know why Brenda would be grounded. I mean,
No.
the faces they make when they hear Brenda might be grounded are just
They're like, yeah, why is she? Yeah.
Why would she be grounded? We don't care about her. We care about our son.
I'll tell you this though. Their expression is correct because what are you doing thinking that a college freshman is being grounded by their parents? No. Nope.
Good question.
That's not like if she was living in a dorm, there would be no grounding. They wouldn't be able to do that. You don't ground high school students or college students. You just don't. It's like they're in fucking college. Like, yeah, you can parent them and try to like direct them and help them learn. They're gonna have to fuck some shit up. But like grounding, like it's a junior high parenting
Lame
trick, not a
stain.
college. That's totally lame stain. Anyway, I interrupted.
No, it's okay. Something else I think this episode is about on a deeper level is that not much changes across generations.
That's it.
Thank you. And I have a whole list, and I mean, I keep thinking of stuff, and at some point the show would just be too long.
This, by the way, this is why I liked the episode this time. Go ahead.
Well, because we kind of need this message right now. But parents don't like who their kids are hanging with across generations. Happens. Not in every house, but in many. Adults don't like teens. Happens. Or, people at like establishments get really, and I say, when I say establishments, I mean, wow, I can't talk. I'm excited. When I say establishments, I mean restaurants.
Oh,
but,
gotcha.
They get really annoyed when teenagers come in, even though, like, where else do you want them to hang out? They're kids. You say you don't want them on the streets doing drugs, and then you get mad when they're in your establishment being kids. I don't know what to tell you.
Nat learned from Sal, like, to do the opposite.
Thank goodness. Anyway, so yeah, there's a deep political divide. Sound familiar? Kids constantly exploring their identity and trying to figure out where they fit in, especially in tumultuous times, which I know I've had friends be like, it's always tumultuous times. And I'm like, I think sometimes the waves are easier than others. And like in times like the 60s, and I'll say now, they're especially choppy.
100%.
And kids are having there's a helplessness that comes from living in such times, because it's like, if you're not getting an idea from your parents on what to believe,
Mm-hmm.
and you're being yelled at by the one other person in your household who is willing, question mark, to have a conversation but isn't really,
No,
I
I
mean,
just yell at
you
you.
you do have to go out and find out for yourself. And the last one I have, and again, there are so many things that don't change across generations, but like, no one takes each other seriously.
Mm. Yeah. Um, but the thing I wrote down was that everything is cyclical, which is the
Mm,
same idea, that these struggles that we have as human beings growing up are they just keep happening, right? Um, and that's what the episode wanted us to focus on, was that, you know, these struggles that kids were having in 1967, 68, 69 are the same struggles that our heroes have had in 91, 92, 93, 94. um, the the quest for who you are and how you fit in, um, the fact that there is a generational divide, but there's also an intergeneration divide, because the big conflict in this episode is not between parents and kids. I mean, like, TV dinner Jim doesn't like long hair Dylan. He's a crumb bum. But that's not the conflict. The conflict is between Will and Wendy, and Will and Peter, and Michelle and sobriety. And like, it's not an not interdimensional, intergenerational conflict. It's within the generation, and we have that now, like
yep.
a lot fucking now. Um, Less, I don't feel like, as someone who was in high school in 1994, I didn't feel that political split happening. It wasn't as life or death. It wasn't as um, strident and angry. There were people that you were like, well, I think that person's an asshole, but it wasn't because like they were, you know, on right wing blogs and shit. Um,
Yeah.
you know, like the, and it wasn't because they were uh, pro war and I'm anti war, because they're like, in 1994 we didn't have one of those going on. Like, we didn't have a big, I mean, we had, the Gulf War was done, um, and we were in a period where we weren't actively engaged in a large scale military conflict. There was shit. There's always shit,
Sure.
but but again, cyclical, right? Just because it happened in 67 doesn't mean it's going to be happening in 94, but it's happening in 25, you
Oh,
know.
yeah.
And in 1994, I wasn't seeing people act like fascists. I
Yeah.
wasn't seeing other people having to use the word fascist to describe the behavior of others, the way that it's done in this episode and the way that we're living right now.
Yeah.
Fascism is a problem, you guys. It's in our fucking faces. And it's our job to say that's some fascist fucking bullshit going on.
Yep.
Okay? That's that was the job in 1968, and it's the job now. It wasn't as much the job in 1994, but it's more the story now than it ever has been in my life. And that's why I watch this episode and I go, this feels real. This feels like a thing. It's interesting that they wanted to talk about it in 1994.
Because this is maybe the one credit I will give the writers, in that maybe they saw the importance of sharing history from generation to generation, because there is prevention work that you can do
Yeah.
in sharing what your experience was
Mm-hmm.
so that people don't do it again. And yet the
Yeah.
bitter part of me is like, well, you know what? People were doing that work
Mm-hmm.
and it didn't fucking work.
It's because evil doesn't rest either.
I know.
Like,
Yeah.
that like, it's like when you're watching um any kind of sports competition and you get mad that your team isn't beating the shit out of the other team. It's because the other team's trying to win too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's how this works. If there's two teams, they're both trying to win. Um, and like, and I'm going to say this word, and I don't mean it to be as loaded as it's become because of their actions, but boomers love to tell you about their societal awakening.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They love to talk about the 60s and the anti-war movement and Vietnam and Watergate and like all of those the things that were and the civil rights movement and the March on Washington, and like they've been in the business of mythologizing their own development as a generation since they got a microphone.
Yep.
And the people who wrote this are boomers. And so they are in 1994 once again mythologizing their past. Now, it turns out it's a warning.
Yeah.
You know, to go back and look at 1967, 68. This is 68. It starts in January 2nd, I guess.
It was like 68, 69.
Yeah, it started in 68. It started January of 68, and then they told the story through leaving for Woodstock middle of 69. It 68 was, and see, this is this thing that you have expressed multiple times. And the more I think about it, the more bothered I am.
Oh no.
The idea that you don't know anything about this period in US history. Because, and this is true of me, it's not true of me that I don't know it. This part is also true of me. I wasn't taught it in school because we basically get to World War II and we've run out of time.
Oh,
Like
you got to World War II? We got to the
we
Industrial Revolution and ran out
okay,
of time.
good. You run
I'm
out of
mad
time
about
is
it.
my point. Yeah, but they run out of time is my point. And they're never going to stop teaching the American Revolution. They're never going to stop we like to teach wars. That's what we like to teach. They're never going to stop teaching the Civil War. Now, depending on who you let write the curriculum, there might be some fucked up shit coming out of that lesson. But those things are going to get taught.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to gloss right over Reconstruction. Like, that's going to happen. You're going to hear that word, and then you're going to move on until World War I. You might spend a weekend talking about the Industrial Revolution. This is how we teach history in America, you guys. I used to be a history teacher. I'm telling you, this is how it goes. They try to get to World War II. You really, if you have a lot of time in April, you're going to try to get into the Cold War a little bit, and that's going to be as far as it reaches. Okay.
I'm so jealous. Like, I loved history because I
Mm-hmm.
kept hoping each year we were going to get to the stuff that I really wanted to learn about, which was everything in the mid to late 20th century or
Yeah.
21st century. I was like,
And
I want to know.
and here's the thing that is more and more concerning to me as we go. I know those things. I know US history from 1950 to present because I was alive for the last 50 years and I was raised by people who were alive in the previous 25. Right? So I grew up at the end of the Cold War. So I understand what the Cold War is. I lived through it. I didn't live through the Bay of Pigs and the Cuban Missile Crisis parts of the Cold War, but I lived through nuclear proliferation and glasnost and the fall of the Berlin Wall and the the end, like the latter half of the space race, and I learned about the Cold War and Vietnam and the space race, and which is all interconnected, um, and the civil rights movement. I learned those things by being around people who lived them.
Mm.
You did not live through most of what I'm talking about. And you weren't raised by people, even though they're close in age to my parents, they were younger.
And they
So,
also, I'd say more importantly, they never wanted to talk about this stuff. I
uh
would
huh.
come home asking questions like, can you tell me about this thing or this thing? And
Right.
they were like, I don't know. Like, they're a good example of how not everyone has the same experience of a
Mm-hmm.
time.
Yeah.
And it's odd. And I mean, if that is the way you want to live, that's the way you want to live and not be bothered by things happening in the world, fine. But like, it made me sad as a kid because I was like, you lived through this. I want to know.
Uh huh.
And, you know, then I have to rely on things like Mad Men, which leaves little nuggets of history.
So that's also how I learned this stuff, is through the media I took in, right? And also because I'm curious about these things, I'm interested.
Yeah.
So I've watched a lot of movies and listened to a lot of music and watched a lot of TV shows. I've watched the TV shows that were on during that time. I've watched TV shows about that time. Um, I've learned it because I wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
What concerns me is that um, I have a high school student who probably also won't get past World War II in his history education.
Yep.
And that now is moving, it's much closer to 100 years of history that's not getting taught.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fuck ton. And it's important because all of these things are cyclical. The lessons that were learned in the late 60s are not lessons that are being learned now. They have to get learned again.
They're being avoided.
Well, no, they're being lived.
Well, I mean,
People are having to learn them the fucking hard way.
I know because I don't think people want to. I guess what I'm trying to say is I feel like they haven't been taught because people think that kids can't handle it and they don't want to talk about it. Like everyone is acting really fucking precious about like, well, it's really sad and it's really hard to learn. And I'm like, I fucking learned it.
Yeah. I think
I was
it's
heavy shit as a kid. And like,
Mhm.
I can't lie and say I'm okay, but that's not why I'm not okay. I'm
Sure,
not
different
okay
reasons.
because no one else did the work that I did.
Right. There you go. I think that what we're living through now is a direct result of not of just assuming that kids would like glean what happened after 1950 kind of on their own.
Yep.
And we aren't teaching those things. And until we teach what happened from the Cold War on in real detail and talk about what Reagan's America was really like. Talk about what happens, like talk about the Southern strategy and how the Republican Party turned into the party that it is today. Abraham Lincoln was a Republican. Guess what? A lot of shit happened in between there, and you didn't learn most of it because we stopped teaching at World War II because we were the good guys.
Well, and we've also just taught everything incorrectly.
You kinda. I mean,
We've taught everything with rose-colored glasses.
Okay, definitely that.
And we've taught it in a black and white way.
Yeah, I think that's true.
we're not covering the gray aspects of all of these things because
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately there's just not enough time. Again, I
Mm-hmm.
haven't taught like you have, but I'm very well aware that there's not enough time for these teachers who really want to do the work. And also, well, and that's also part of the government, like with the standardized teaching and everything and fucking No Child Left Behind. Like there's stuff being left out on purpose. But
Mm-hmm.
then you probably do get some teachers who were like, I don't feel qualified to teach this part of history or to go as in depth with it as some students may want. Um,
Mm-hmm. But I'll tell you this: by and large, history teachers love to teach history. That's
I would
why
hope
they're history
so.
teachers. They are interested in this stuff. They are passionate about this stuff. It fires them up. Like that's what that was my undergrad. I'm a history and poli sci major. That's what my bachelor's is in. When I went into teaching, I got my endorsement in world studies and history, and I don't even remember anymore. It's been 20 years, but it's like the specifics. But it was history education. That's what I focused on because it's what was interesting to me. I loved it. But then you go teach sixth grade history, and you got to talk about the Tigris and Euphrates and the Yangtze. You got to talk about rivers, like, and it's important. It's the history of the world and the history of civilization as it grows. But like, you spend so much time talking about like deltas and silt and crop growth and like, which again, really important stuff
Sure.
because that's how societies develop and evolve. And look around, all of our cities are on rivers, you guys. There's a reason, not Indianapolis, but like there's a reason that cities are built on waterways, right? That's historically been very important. But we spend so much time talking about that, and we don't spend any time talking about like the root causes of the rise of fascism.
I think it's interesting that you bring up that most people teaching history want to be, because that was
Love
not my
it.
experience.
Hmm.
I maybe had two history teachers who liked it.
Mm.
My mom often made the joke that a lot of social studies teachers were also coaches
Um.
and therefore weren't like, again, this was what I heard from her and about her schools that
Mm-hmm.
she worked for. And I'm sure it's true in some cases, but certainly not all. But like, that those same teachers probably didn't care about going in depth very much because for them maybe they were interested in it, but they were more interested in like, here's the dates, here's what you need to know, here's what
Mm-hmm.
happened, you know, we're not going to have discussions about it.
Yeah.
And history is
Maybe.
a class where there should be discussions.
Mm-hmm. There should be, but there aren't.
Nope.
And there aren't discussions about this stuff, so it's left to TV writers of teenage sitcoms or teenage dramas in the mid 90s to try to educate you about what it was like to live through major historical events in the late 60s. And the best you get is a bunch of song lyrics quoted at you.
I was going to say, for people who I feel like they wanted to write about this and yet they also made fun of it, I was much like in Legally Blonde 2, I was constantly going back and forth between did they honor the people of this era? Like, did they respect what each individual was going through, or are they just making fun of the different groups of the time? Because that's what it felt like to me.
It's broad brush stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because again, you got 38 minutes, and half of that time has got to be spent with like Brenda going to the library and talking to that lady.
Well, but
Which again,
that's
more interesting.
important because everyone needs to learn to fucking go to a library if they want answers.
Yeah.
Not this.
No.
Don't. I mean, it can be helpful, but like, please go to a library while we still
Yeah.
have them.
Talk to a person.
Yes. Oh my God.
This is the last thing I think this episode was really about. Your high school friends aren't necessarily your forever friends. And kind of the most interesting stuff that happens is the stuff that happens after. Like, the whole flashback stuff, I'm way less interested in what was happening on those at those times than what happened to those people after. That's what's
Yeah.
interesting to me. So when she finally got to talk to Wendy at the end, I was like, all of these people lived lives, and maybe this is just because I'm turning 50 and I'm, there's that looking back part of it. And the fact that, again, further from today to when this episode was shot and recorded and I was graduating high school than this episode was from the stuff it's talking about. So
Damn.
it is further in my rear view, 1994, than and we have nostalgia corner. So like we do this, we talk about, but the reason that this stuff works, the reason we can watch 1994 90210 talk about 1968 in 2025 is because people are people and they go through the same struggles and the stories are universal. You can dress up Shakespeare in Verona or on Verona Beach. Verona Beach is going to be too fucking loud. Turn it down. But you can do it, right? You can replace the swords with guns. It's the same story. And the story is understandable and relatable and too fucking loud. And they get in the pool a lot.
Loudest person on this pod.
I don't know what to tell you. I'm not perfect. I'm just right. It's so like that I think is interesting. Like that. And so when you look at it with our friends here, like they might be starting to go this.
Yeah.
And if they do, that's natural. That's what happens. It's what happened to Wendy and Will and Peter and Michelle and Steve and David with their hair and Donna with her signs. I don't remember what her name was.
You grow close to the people you grow close to, sometimes out of necessity, because those are your only options for a community.
Right.
And that's especially, I would say that's mostly true when you're in school, when you're growing up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a little less true in college, although this group is certainly staying,
mm-hmm. That's the value of college. It's the value of going away to college is, Adam Carolla, for all of the things that he says that I don't agree with, a long time ago said, you don't have a best friend. That's just some asshole you grew up with. Like, the only reason you were friends with the people you were friends with when you were a kid is because your parents both bought houses on the same street. That didn't have anything to do with you. That's chance. That's just an asshole down the street. And you ended up at the same school because both of your parents decided to send you to school there.
Yeah.
That's okay, cool. That's coincidence. It's not friendship. It doesn't mean you actually have anything in common. That's why when you go to college and you can self-select a little bit, then you can start to develop relationships that are not just based on the geographic decisions of your predecessors.
Yeah.
And so like I think that's I also think maybe that's why I liked this episode a little bit too, is that you look back and you go, man, all that stuff that was so important, that it's important. Like the stuff you go through in high school is important. It informs who you are and who you become. It's important, but it's not the whole story. And
thank God for that.
Right. What happens after is way more interesting.
Yeah.
And that's what this episode is getting at a little bit, I think. But we are watching a show about people during that period in their lives. So, and this is interesting because there's some crazy shit that goes on this show, which best I can tell is real.
But I don't think it's that out of pocket for us to be watching a teen drama or following it for its lessons, because so many people still watch teen dramas, and because deep down we'd rather be dealing with those problems than the problems of adulthood. Some more than others. Some people go on and live a life much better than their high school lives. some people are still figuring out which was better. Um, but I think we all like watching teen dramas for similar reasons.
I'll say this too. Um, it's kind of the issue with studying history. But one of the reasons we enjoy this is because we know how it turned out. Right? You don't, but we know that like it turned like it ended. Like the show ends. Like this is a period in time. That period in time is over. It had a resolution. We know that it did, and there's a tendency to look back and say it happened, so it was always going to happen. Like we won the national championship in the year we won the national championship. So when you look back on it, everything you're watching feeds the story of this is how it ended, right? So it must have been destined to end that way because that's the way that it ended. We don't go back and look at the 1,000 choices people made in the run up to it ending the way that it ended. Mm-hmm. And so we look back at the 60s and we say JFK was killed. That was always what was going to happen. And so we don't have to look at the why. Mm. Bobby Kennedy was killed. We know that happened. King was killed. X was killed. Vietnam happened. There were like all of the things that happened, we know happened. So it feels like they were always going to happen and not a thing that happened because like Peter Brinkley like wanted to hang out in the administrative office. Like, with a bunch of his friends that night. Like those kids chose to do that. They could have chose something else, but because they did, it's a thing that happened. And so there's comfort in knowing it happened. And there's comfort in knowing how they came out of it. Like it has a conclusion. The present is uncertain. And so it's less comforting to spend time there.
I do think some people struggle with history, though, because of the things that you just listed, because some people do have a hard time grappling with the why, and they want to spend a lot of time focusing on that. And I get it. I do it with my own life. But it doesn't serve anything because it's happened. All you can do is focus on how can I stop this from happening again?
Right. But the why is important for that.
Well, and maybe that's where the why is helpful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you see it all the time now with, hey, this is the authoritarian playbook. It's these 6 things. We're watching all of them happen right now. Can someone please do something? Like,
I don't know how many signs you all need.
No, they're all there.
It's just very clear some of you all did not grow up obsessively reading Holocaust books.
Uh-huh. Right. Uh-huh. The present is no, I mean the best we can do sometimes is to look back to understand what we're seeing now. And then try to act in a way that makes now better. And that's the challenge that we are facing here in 2025. Yep. When you're listening to this, God, I hope we did it better. Like, God, I hope we figured this shit out. I don't know if we're going to, but boy, I hope we do. I hope that you're listening to this in the comfort of 2030 and going, 2025 was fucked up and these guys were in the middle of it. Yeah. But they came out of it okay. Fucking I hope so.
You got to do 3. Bad luck.
What's that?
You got to do 3 crossings because just doing 2 was bad luck when I was growing up. You have to do 3.
Oh, that's silly. Okay, whatever. It's all nonsense. All that's nonsense.
Okay, so that changes across generations. How many fingers to cross and how?
No, I never heard that one. I didn't know that it was a odd and even number situation.
Oh, growing up, we said 2 was bad luck, and so we would do 3 or just do more. I mean, maybe it was a trick to see who would fall over crossing things.
Oh, I get that. I'm all for that. Let's make people fall down. No, those superstition things never did much for me. I'm actually watching a season of Survivor from, I don't know, 20 like or to the 2006, something like that. And there's a guy on there who is like, I swear on my son. Like, he's big with like swearing on his son. And he's like, I can't get out of this alliance because I swore on my son, but I hate all of you, but I made this promise. Which, okay, I don't care. I swear I'm not going to swear on. I'll swear on whoever because I don't think it means anything. It's stupid.
It doesn't.
I'll swear on the ghost of who. I don't care. But he's doing it wrong because he's making other people swear on his son too.
Oh, no.
Like, that's not how it works. They don't care about your kid. They're not. Okay, I'll swear on your kid. What do I care? It's weird. Like, the way he understands that superstition is not the way that I understand it, and that's, what you were doing. Same thing. Is like, well, that's not how I think that works. I mean, it doesn't work, but it's not how I think it works, even if it does work. Sure. Anyhow, what did this make you nostalgic for?
A lot of things. But
I have multiple things too. It's weird.
Oh, sweet. Okay. I won't go in depth on one of them just because I feel like it's 1994. I think they're gonna run from Blockbuster again. But those fucking tapes, man, especially the duo set. Oh my god! When I got Titanic, it was in that box.
Because it's long. You can dig in.
Anyway, very excited. I read Dear America books growing up, which, this was an upsetting thing because it's a series of books. They're all diaries.
Mm-hmm.
And you can take this however you want to take it. I thought all of those diaries were real.
Oh, okay.
And I loved them and was fascinated by them. I still love them. I was like, this is amazing. They found this many diaries. Oh my God. And here's the thing. You totally could have found this many diaries, but like this detailed for the same amount of time. And you somehow have all their, like,
and they quote all these song lyrics. It's crazy.
I was 10. I don't know what to tell you. I was a kid. Kids are naive. But I loved that series so much. And it was just reading diaries. And I don't remember if I was writing in diaries before then or after, but like, and granted, my diaries early on sounded more like Wendy's than what I've been doing lately. Because like I have been trying to write more about like stuff in what's happening and how we're all feeling about it. Because I'm like, diaries are valuable.
They're first person accounts. They are the first pass at history. Like that, they say that's what sort of newspapers are. But this kind of first person accounting is valuable historical reference.
And it's very clear that it's going to be more important than ever to archive this time because there's so much fake stuff out there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm nostalgic for Dear America and at a time that wasn't now.
No. Yeah, I feel that. All right, here's what I got. The old Peach Pit set is back. That's remember the Peach Pit from season 1 before they did the reno work?
I totally forgot that. No.
Yeah, that's what it's season 1 Peach Pit is like, has the wood walls and the chairs by the door. Remember when when Brandon first got the job there, like, go look at what it looks like. It's the same set. They mashed some things together. Like they left the counter, this like the present day counter, I think, because it was easier. But the wood walls and the floor, I think, is all the old stuff. So it's like makes me nostalgic for season 1, which is funny. How about breaking the curfew rules as a nostalgia moment? Remember when 1960s David was getting 1960s Donna to stay in the dorm after the curfew rules? I don't know if you had curfew rules, but my freshman year, IU wasn't like this. My freshman year at University of Indianapolis, the opposite sex could not be on your floor after a certain period of time.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So if you had someone stay over, it had to be, because if you got caught, you get in trouble. So...
I don't think we had that when I was in college, but I know I've spoken to you about how in high school, when we would go to University of Nebraska
Mm-hmm.
for International Thespian Festival, we did have a curfew, uh, but it was more about being. I don't think it was necessarily about girls couldn't be in boys' dorms and vice versa. That was just a no-brainer. Obviously, that wasn't allowed, but like you had to be in your dorm by 10, or you risked going to court the next day. Like
Yeah. I
it
mean,
was
that's
really
just
silly and nerve-wracking, and I missed
right.
out on my. I probably missed out on having my first kiss much sooner because of it, but it's fine. I'm okay.
I'm not thinking about it all the time. God damn it. Fuck off.
It's just funny things like that. But you're like, man, my whole world could have changed that night. Like, or
Yeah.
my whole life did change because I didn't, and I'm still really glad that I did not risk it because that's just who I am, and that's
Yep.
fine.
It's your sliding doors moment. It's,
Anxiety is my
listening to
superpower.
curfew. There you go. Um, yeah, the hard part about that curfew situation is when the member of the party who is breaking the curfew by being where they're not supposed to be has to pee at 2 a.m.
Oh no.
That fucking sucks. You gotta like, there's some sneaking, there's some hurrying, there's some guarding, there's, like, okay, coast is clear, run. And then you stand outside and you're like, hey, don't go in. Somebody's in there. What? And then, like, all right, come on. So much sneaking.
Oh, that's adorable.
It is, but it's when you're
I
doing it
know.
with a full bladder, it sucks.
No, I'm sure. Yeah, no.
Yep.
My
Not awesome.
concern there would be like, what if I have a flare up? We're going to be in big trouble.
Uh-huh. Yep. No,
Uh,
that's the real with David and his,
you
oh,
didn't have
somebody
the
unplugged the clock.
You didn't have the shared bathrooms in your dorm?
At IU I did, not at U of I.
Oh, okay. I was like, I
Not
know
an
you
issue at
did.
IU.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I didn't have that in Wright, but I figured you would have had that in Reed.
Nope.
But you
We
just had
did.
it in other school.
Yeah. And when I would come to Indiana and stay in Foster, they didn't have shared bathrooms. And I was breaking curfew, but there was no curfew. It was fine. Nobody cared. I walked in and out of that bathroom so many times where there's like 6 women in towels and I'm like, how's it going, guys? I gotta pee.
Hey.
It's like, and like we're all like, I'm taking a shower and there's like 4 women showering nearby, but it's like, hi everybody. Like
High-fiving over the curtain.
yeah, it's just, everybody's not a creep, so it's fine. Like,
See, we weren't that fast and loose on my floor. Like, my bathroom was supposed to be just for women, and I'm pretty sure
it was supposed to be.
But, like, that doesn't mean guys didn't use it to pee or anything. And, like,
right.
I don't know.
I think I was kind of a fixture. I was there every weekend. So I was like, oh, Jeff's back. Like, and we know he's taken. He's like, he's otherwise engaged. He's not in here looking for us.
That makes you safe sometimes.
I'm very safe. The last thing I wrote down was 134, 10, and 66. The route they took to get to Woodstock. And it made me nostalgic. What's that?
Did you look up the route or?
No, no, because I know what it is. Like, I know what Highway 10 is. That goes across the southern part of the country. So that's what they did. They went that way and then they went up 60. I don't know where 66 is. No, Route 66. So they took that, but that doesn't go all the way to Woodstock. I don't think. I don't know what they did.
Look it up because it sounds like they might have taken a similar route to Walter and I moving from Portland to New York.
Well, you didn't go through the southern part of the country. That wouldn't have made any sense.
No, we totally did.
No, because you went and visited people.
Well, we went all the way down the coast of California because we thought we may never have a chance to do this again, and it's a pandemic. So, like, what? We didn't have anything we were in a rush to get to.
Yeah, smart.
Pandemic life, people. So we did that. It was also early spring, and I was like, we're bound to hit snow somewhere. Let's mitigate that chance by going as southernly as we can. well, still avoiding Texas. We should have just gone through Texas. It would have been warmer. But it's
Long,
fine.
but yeah,
Would have been long, but again, so yeah, that's why we chose that route.
gotcha. I just like the idea of looking at a map and planning your trip just by writing down the roads you need to take. Like I prefer having a GPS. Don't get me wrong,
No, I love
but
Google
it is
Maps.
kind of fun. What's that?
Yeah, I love Google Maps.
Yeah,
But I do also wish that I had really properly learned how to read a map.
the blue line is a river, Fozzie. What if we just take that blue line? Well, we can't. That's a river. Oh, right. Moving right along. Doobie dum, doobie dum. Who is your Steve Sanders Memorial worst person of the episode?
Whichever writer decided that Cindy should be stupid in the 60s.
It was new and improved, though. The sauce
Okay.
on their
It
TV
was
dinner.
so upsetting. I mean, she was adorable with, like, did you order pizza?
Yeah.
Pippa
Yep.
being more interested in, like, pizzas
Pippa.
being delivered than, like, the man on the moon. Like,
Right. Yeah.
I kind of get it. I
Yeah.
kind of get it. I know it was a big deal and I wasn't there and I'll never understand. Blah. But, pizza.
But pizza's pretty good.
And she asks an important question. What kind of crust?
Oh, sure.
Anyway.
Yep. It's yummy. I'm going to go with Will the fascist.
Yeah, him too.
He sucked. Like, I don't like it. I don't like any part of it. I don't like that his haircut looked like the haircut from the beginning of the season. I don't know how they did that magic. But maybe they just made a wig from like season 4, episode 1 and stuck it on his head. Everybody else had wigs. Do you know who else was the worst person? Wig maker.
Oh no!
Whew. Those wigs were rough.
They had.
Those wigs were rough, man. The only wig I bought was Deshaun's wig when he was George Washington or Uncle Sam. That's the wig I want. Yeah, that's the only one.
I only had a problem really with Dylan's wig. Like Steve's was rough, but it blended.
Steve's and David's were so funny looking though.
I love David's. David looked pretty great.
David's hair, it looked like a critter. It was just plopped on top.
Well, a lot of people's hair did look like that back then. It was a very laissez-faire attitude with.
I'm not saying it wasn't historically accurate. I'm just saying it was rough.
Well, I'm sure for anyone back then, they'd probably also say that.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. All right, so now we did it. Join us here on Friday Cheesemeisters when we watch something that is relevant to this episode's 60s themes. We haven't landed on anything yet, and I have a stronger feeling now than I did before I rewatched the episodes.
Tell me.
I'm real divided between actually watching Woodstock and Easy Rider.
Okay.
But it probably Easy Rider.
I would be down.
Yeah, just
the
because
and I was like, this is interesting.
I've only seen it once, and I remember thinking it was overrated. But also, I think I was like in high school.
Okay.
So there's probably stuff I just didn't see or get, or maybe I'll watch it this time and go, "Oh, this is a big bloated bag of crap." I don't know. But I'm certain that my experience of it will be different than when I watched it in high school. So if you want to do Easy Rider, let's do Easy Rider.
Let's do Easy Rider.
All right. So join us here on Friday when we watch Easy Rider, Cheesemeisters. And join us here next week when we watch season 4, episode 26, Blind Spot.
Correct.
Nothing like this episode.
What?
No one goes back to the 60s next week, you guys.
Oh,
We're
okay.
staying in modern 1994. So it's different. There's a couple things that happen in it. There's a couple things that are like fucking maddening, and other things that are like, all right, I guess you did that this week.
Great.
It's 90210. So, yep. But until then, Cheesemeisters.
Bye.
Bye.